This presentation is really about the year in review. So it's just trying to encapsulate what we've done as a UNISEC Global throughout the year and then where we are headed. So I want to begin, though, by taking the time to pay my respects to Professor Plum and Dankoff, who we lost due to post-COVID-19 complications on the 20th of January this year. So I never personally had the pleasure of meeting Professor Dankoff, but I know he was an active member of the UNISEC Global community, as well as a point of contact, and that many of you would have considered him a friend. So he published more than 125 papers, presented and published in different journals and conference proceedings, and he was also the organizer of the MIC2 seminar in Bulgaria in 2012. As well as the leader of the Sofia University team, where he was also an associate professor in microwave and wireless techniques. And so I'd like to, if we can, remember and honor his contributions to UNISEC Global and this community with just a moment of silence. Thank you very much. I want to share this picture with you all, which I think that UNISEC Global members, past, present, as well as future, I think you might appreciate this. So this picture was taken aboard the International Space Station by astronaut Tim Kopra in 2016. And in this image, you can actually see countries from left to right along the Mediterranean coast that include Egypt, Gaza, Saudi Arabia, Israel, Jordan, Lebanon, Syria, and Turkey. And I think this image is very telling because from this vantage point, all of our inequalities, all of our conflicts, all of our difficulties that we face in our day-to-day life, they all become completely imperceivable. And so from this point of view, all of our challenges and our struggles seem very small. Now, we know in reality that this isn't the case, but I think this picture helps us see and share the wonder and meaning of space that hopefully all of our activities encapsulate. And so I think this image is just a good perspective that we can keep in mind for the new year. And hopefully we can work together more to achieve things which are much bigger than ourselves. So with that, I'll just like to move on to what 2021 posed for us, which was a year of challenges, really, for many of us. And I think that's very evident because the way we all live, work, connect, and socialize, it changed drastically. And it kind of solidified this year into this new model where that familiar lifestyle that we were used to had us really far removed from our comfort zones. And our actions and our movements were for an extended duration, very restricted. And so as a community, this meant that a lot of our activities had to be cancelled or postponed. And this included the inability to reschedule the previously cancelled 8th UNISEC Global Meeting that Rustam spoke about before, along with the 10th Nanosatellite Symposium, which was originally planned to be held in Turkey in July of 2020. And so in addition to this, our hands-on activities like HeptaSat and CANSAT Leader Training Program 11, they all effectively stopped. So for an organization that prides itself on facilitating practical hands-on training for students, this was a very significant challenge and it had broad and far-reaching impacts, not just to our activities, but to people, to the relationships that we all develop with each other and to our sense of community. But still, out of this challenge and out of any challenge really can come opportunity and can come growth through change. And so this is a good reminder, I think, that nothing in life is permanent. and that we should always strive to do the best that we can with what we have at the time, because by doing so, there's new possibilities that might arise, and this can sometimes lead us to accomplish things which are unexpected. So in this way, we're pretty fortunate, I think, that 2021 kind of emboldened us a little bit to explore some new opportunities, how we could engage the global space community. And so it's no use being idle. I'm sure that you all understand that well. But on this slide, some of those opportunities are actually listed. And they included things like embracing and expanding the delivery of lectures for the Cube Academy Season 2, which was done in collaboration with JAXA and UNOOSA's Access to Space for All initiative. And the first part of Season 2 has actually now been completed, as well as actually in collaboration with UNISEC Japan, launching the UNISEC Academy, where a series of lectures about space engineering and mission design have been launched as well. So I think we all know the hands-on training gives really good experience to anybody who participates in it. But in order to reach a lot of people, sometimes developing something online can be a more effective platform anyway. And so there was several other opportunities that we took up, and this include the running the Higher Space Education Working Group just recently at the Asia Pacific Regional Space Agency Forum. And during this working group is where we actually presented our new Space Education Policy Initiative project that we've spoken to you about a few times over the course of these meetings. So in addition to that, we did make several other presentations throughout the year on various international platforms, and that's an attempt to try and get us closer to our goal of Vision 2030 all. So that goal, to remind you, is by the end of 2030, let's create a world where university students can participate in practical space projects in all countries. And so there's still a lot to do to achieve Vision 2030 all, but through these types of challenges that the COVID-19 pandemic has brought towards us, we looked at new and better ways to try and help us achieve that goal. And one of those new, better ways, potentially, for us this year was the first iteration of the hybrid mission idea contest, as well as the accompanying lecture series. So over a year since announcement, actually, it was, the MC7 was finally concluded. And we've spoken about the details of the MC7 a few times, so I'm not going to repeat those details again. But instead, I just wanted to share that the Mission Idea Contest 7 videos that have been produced throughout that year have now had a combined view count of 2,900 plus views on YouTube across the whole lecture series, as well as the finalist presentations. And so hopefully we can continue to improve the quality of these types of resources for next year. And if you haven't had a chance to watch this content, I'd encourage you to do so. If you go to UNISEC Video YouTube channel, you'll be able to view them. And also, please, if you can share them with anyone that you think might be interested, that would be great. But the fantastic thing about creating a hybrid competition and lecture series like this is that these recordings are going to continue to be accessed by anyone who can connect to the internet that wants to learn more about satellite engineering and mission design. So because this is hosted on a free and open platform like YouTube, this type of format, I think, has a lot of potential to continue making a big impact for years from now. And I think that's, personally, I think that's something that should be celebrated. And I think it's a massive achievement. So well done to all the participants, to our judges, to our lecturers, and to anybody who's followed it, as well as to the organisers of the MC7. And I think the same, honestly, can be said about our virtual UNISEC meetings, because we haven't been able to obviously hold a UNISEC global meeting in person. But this slide here just details some of the themes and special guest speakers that we've had throughout this year. So there's several great advantages, I think, though, to hosting regular online meetings. And this includes things like being able to connect with experts and explore new topics, as well as being able to connect and work together on a regular basis in breakout rooms, as well as how accessible these meetings actually are. Because you don't have to travel to another country to connect to the broader UNISEC community through these types of meetings. Instead, you can contribute to shaping the global space industry directly from your home or from your lounge room. And so I think we're very lucky to have heard from these experts throughout the year. It gives us a different perspective into the aspects of space that we might not normally glimpse. And perhaps even that this type of content with the recordings might even inspire you or somebody else into a particular field of study, which you might not have previously considered. But I would love personally to hear your thoughts about what you've enjoyed throughout the meetings as we go forward, as well as when we go into the breakout rooms a little bit later. So on that, I am also very interested to hear your feedback regarding the breakout rooms. So I'd like to hear things about what types of activities you enjoyed and what you want to see more of, and how large you think groups should be, how long they should run for. What topics and themes and activities would you like to do? Do you enjoy completing challenges in the breakout rooms, or would you more enjoy a kind of relaxed breakout room where you can network and just talk to each other? Because if you remember, throughout the year, we've completed several scenarios. These have included things on space weather and mission planning and setting policy, space policy, just to name a few of them. But the UNISEC global meetings and the virtual meetings are fundamentally, they're about connecting with the community. So breakout rooms were one way that we sought to do this in a more of a kind of relaxed and fun environment. But another way that we do this is via local chapter presentations and announcements. So if you do have something that you would like to announce or share with the community, if you want to make a presentation, please make sure you let us know going forward into next year, because we would like to include as many of you as we can, and we can secure a speaking slot for you as well. But that being said, we do want to make the meetings more enjoyable. And so we are open to any type of suggestion as to what we can do more of or how we can do better with this. Another point of note that is on this slide is that we've seen quite a lot of growth actually of our corporate members in support of UNISEC activities. And these companies are also here to support you. So you can take advantage of the active participation in the community and the projects that you work on. So I do want to just pay special thanks as well to our corporate members. And I hope that you will continue to support our activities in the new year. So our community is growing, and we'd like you to help us grow it even further. If you can share these meetings and what we're doing with anybody that you know who is interested. And I also want to encourage you to get involved with your local chapter activities. Or if you don't have a local chapter, then perhaps look at forming one. Because greater diversity of thoughts and voices is something which we can all benefit from. And this slide here just gives some statistics about the participation of all of our members who have joined our meetings from across the year. And I think it's really encouraging to actually see quite a high percentage of student participation, as well as the number of countries and regions that have had active representation. So this is my second to last slide before I cover our plans for next year. So I just wanted to present here some of your thoughts and opinions that you've shared with us throughout the year. And you probably won't be able to read all of these because they do move quite quickly. But perhaps when you fill out your registration form, you're wondering if the comments you make or the questions you answer are actually read or taken into consideration. And while we can't always read every comment, we do take note of them pretty regularly, and they are included in the post-meeting report, and they do make a difference. So it's lovely to have everybody so involved and engaged in these meetings. There's a few more, I think. I put quite a lot in here. But yeah, so we are privileged, honestly, to have everybody contributing. And please keep giving us your thoughts when you register to attend future meetings as well. So plans for next year. Well, firstly, we've spoken about it a little bit, but the 8th Mission Idea Contest is coming, and it's going to challenge contestants to carry out a mission design, which is including multiple satellites of 6U in size or smaller, and the size of the constellation has to obviously be greater than 1. And there'll be more information about this, as time progresses. But this is obviously we're going to look to host the final presentation along with the UNISEC Global Meeting in Istanbul in Turkey. But aside from Mission Idea Contest, in-person training platforms are going to return. But we're also aiming to deliver an abridged version of HeptaSat called HeptaSat Lite. So this also has a companion online learning platform that comes with that, and it's a little bit of a simpler overview of a satellite design system. So it's going to make hands-on and introductory satellite engineering even more accessible worldwide. So additionally, next year we want to set the goal of aligning our UNISEC systems among all of the UNISEC local chapters in a really explicit way. And so that's so that we can try and all derive the most benefit across all of the local chapters and increase our efficiency and our effectiveness in what we do. And as Rustam already mentioned, the 10th Nanosatellite Symposium is going to take place in person. Sorry, Rustam didn't mention that. That's the 11th one that's going to take place in Turkey, but the 10th one is still taking place, but that's going to be in February, February 26th to March 4th in Beppu, Japan. And that's going to be part of the 33rd International Space Symposium. And so while our in-person activities will recommence next year, we do want to continue to adapt some type of integrated learning or hybrid types of approaches to some of our activities, because we've seen how it increases accessibility and the impact that this has made this year. So hopefully we can continue to make an even bigger impact next year with that. But with that, I'd like to thank you on behalf of UNISEC Global for an absolutely fantastic year. And